All right, everybody. So last week on Friday, we jumped and went over our radish seed experiment. And I know first and second hour we had a chance to talk about this, but third hour we did it. So I just wanted to do a quick little video about this worksheet and what's going on. So should have pulled this puppy up, and we'd already filled out this first part. We already said what we were doing for treatment D. We already made a prediction. And then on Friday, we went ahead and collected the mass of what these were, their wet biomass. Okay, so we're going to fill in this wet biomass. Then I wanted you to make a prediction of what would happen if they were dried out. Which one do you think would have the most biomass? So you just put treatment A, B, C, D, which one would have the most to least. And then right here, this is the part that I want to talk about. Says use arrows in the following diagrams to show what is given off or consumed related to photosynthesis and respiration. Then circle if biomass is lost or gained in each treatment. Now we did not dry them out, so we went ahead and just went off of our wet biomass. Now there is a link on Canvas that shows you what this data is and kind of what it looked like. So I'm going to bring this on over. So if we go all the way down to the very bottom, it says radish seed data. And I'll put this little video right there with it as well. But here's what it looked like. And this is the wet biomass. So treatment A was sunlight but no water. Treatment B was sunlight and water. Treatment C was water but no sun. And then treatment D, we actually did, this one was no water, no sun for this one. Okay. And you come down here, and then here is the data. Although the data on this should be right here. Should be listed under the wet biomass, not the dry, because we didn't do the dry. We didn't have a chance to dry it out. So this data should go right here. So when it comes to your worksheet, you should fill out the wet biomass based off of the data online, and then predict what do you think would happen if we were to dry it out. And then we're just going to talk about what happens with photosynthesis and respiration regarding each treatment. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the PowerPoint so I can write on it. I'll move me right here for now. All right, so treatment A. So I'm just looking at the worksheet now. So treatment A was sun, but no water. And if you remember, when it came to its weight, it actually lost a little bit of weight. So there's a couple of reasons why it could have lost some weight. One, you could have just lost some radish seeds, like they're gone. Two, there could have been incorrection when it came to the electronic scale. Maybe things weren't zeroed, or if there was any material that was still left on it. Because it really shouldn't have lost any mass. If anything, maybe we're talking about tenths of a gram, not necessarily more than that, 1/100th of a gram. So you look at this. So yes, it's got the sun. So it's getting sun for photosynthesis, but it doesn't have water. But it definitely can have carbon dioxide come to the seed. So that can happen. But without the water, it can't do photosynthesis. It can't even begin to start using that food built up in the seed for growth. All right, so this one was sun and water. And this gained a ton. So this one definitely gained in biomass. And you think about it, it received water. And that was just in the petri dish, so it did receive water. You definitely have sunlight that's coming. And then as far as your carbon dioxide, Most definitely has got that coming in. So when you have these three reactants, now you can do photosynthesis. So now we are making glucose. Glucose is definitely within the plant. Okay, so glucose is being made, and then it's also giving off oxygen, because that's part of photosynthesis, right? So now let's look at respiration. Because once you have that stored, you have that glucose, now you got to use it for growth, and you got to have ATP, you got to make some energy for work to start to happen. So if you think about respiration, you got to have oxygen. So let's draw some oxygen going back in. So you got to have oxygen, and then it takes that stored glucose and it makes ATP, and then it gives off carbon dioxide, and it gives off water vapor. Now this treatment, treatment B, this plant could keep growing and growing and growing forever and ever and ever. Once again, as long as you have these key ingredients like sunlight and water, it could just keep going, right? All right, let's look at treatment C. I'm going to move this on over to here now. So treatment C was no sun, but it did receive water. Now this one gained a lot of biomass, and for most people it gained more biomass than treatment B. And that's kind of odd because there wasn't any sun, right? So here we've got some water. It's getting that. It's not getting sun, so it can't do photosynthesis. It can definitely get CO2, but without the sun, it doesn't do it much good. Like, once again, it can't do photosynthesis, so it can't do much. So where does the plant have this food to start making ATP to do work so it can start to grow? And a lot of that food was stored up in the seed. That's like the food storage. So as long as it has water, this seed has got tons of glucose in it. So it already has the food it needs. So now that it's got the water, it could start to help it to grow. So let's look at respiration. So if there's glucose already stored in this seed, I'm going to draw some stored glucose. We'll pretend this is a seed. I'm going to draw some stored glucose. And then once again, all it needs is some oxygen to do respiration. So it needs some oxygen, needs some stored glucose, and then it's giving off carbon dioxide. It's giving off a little water vapor, and then it's growing. So the thing is, this plant, treatment C, it will eventually die. Because once this food storage is run out, it can't make more food. It can't make more glucose. So once it's all used up in its seed, it's gone. It's forever. Toast. But treatment B can keep making glucose because it can keep doing photosynthesis. All right, now treatment D depends on which one you did. So you can just draw your own. But this one was no sun. If you were quarantined and gone the whole time, then you'll just use no sun, no water, or you can do the one that we had for you to do, which was no sun, water in a cold environment. And it did gain mass. It gained a little bit of mass. Anyways, this one ended up losing some as well. So no sun, it can't do photosynthesis. When it comes to respiration, I mean, it's got water, so it does have stored glucose. So it definitely, when you look at it, it's got the glucose, it's got oxygen that's coming in. So it's got glucose, it's got oxygen. So it could, once again, you look at this, without the key ingredient of water, we really can't begin the whole process. And so it's not able to even really begin germination without that water. Now, it can still respire. But once again, that it just can't do a lot of growth, so it still could be giving off a little carbon dioxide. The problem is there's not really any water to pull from the seed, so that's why you got to have that to start with. Okay. All right, you guys, so that kind of ties this up. Now, once you have filled out your photosynthesis respiration, your radish seed lab, you can upload this to Canvas. All right.